Ooh, time for another podcast.
Hello guys and welcome back to the Ball Talk podcast. It's been a while, obviously I've been moving about a bit, so we've not been able to record the podcast and, other bits and bobs are occurring. So, here we are and I've got Jarrad
Evening.
and the man, the one, the only, Ben White.
Hello.
Were you watching a video then, Ben?
No? Why?
Alright, no worries. And our first topic of the podcast is Unai Emery at Arsenal, and in Ben's words, other managers as well. So we'll start with Unai. Do you think he's going to go, or do you think he has to go? We'll start with you, Richie.
At another club, I would have said, yeah, I think they'd get rid of him. But Arsenal, I think they'll stick with him. I don't think he's done enough for them to warrant get rid of him. I think they were saying it'd be 6 million to get rid of him, and Arsenal don't like putting their hands in their pockets. So personally, he's only had 50. It's not only had 50 games, but for an Arsenal manager, 50 games isn't a lot, and they like to stick with a manager. Like, they saw him as a future replacement, long-term future replacement. So I think he's got longer to go for me. But yeah, I think someone else should come in with a fresh approach. But that's my opinion.
Plus, I think it could be worse to be one of the top 6 sides when you got United at 7th and obviously Spurs way down the table. So
even the top 6 sides.
Or yeah. they the normal top 6, aren't they? Year in, year out.
Like you watch the Leicester Arsenal game. I watched it, very enjoyable game, and Leicester just looked like a complete team compared to Arsenal.
Oh, Leicester on fire.
They were so enjoyable to watch. Some of them players, they just don't seem to have a weakness in that squad for me. They've got a bit of everything, and Arsenal could just do with a couple of those players in their team, and they would look a lot better.
We'll talk about other football managers as well. Obviously, West Ham's boss, Pellegrini.
He'd be out.
I think he needs to go.
Yeah, I think they get rid of him. They don't mind changing managers. To be honest, I think they get rid of him.
They haven't won in 6 Premier League games.
And they've spent a lot of dosh.
Yeah, exactly. They spent a lot of money. Haller, 40 million. Felipe Anderson, 40 million. Fornals, 30 million. There's other players as well who are just going out the back of my head, but a lot of money. Yeah, they're not doing enough.
Are there any other managers you think that would be getting the boot soon, or?
Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, you've got to keep an eye out for.
Oh, I completely forgot about him. Yeah.
I think he'll still be there for a while, but
the thing is that Brighton were lacklustre today. If Brighton played as well as they had been past few weeks, obviously when they were going all out attack, and United wouldn't have had a chance. But it was one of those games where you just sort of thought, you just couldn't help it, Brighton.
I've just thought of one more manager actually, Pochettino.
Yes.
I don't know what's happening with him.
I thought, they're in tatters at the moment, Spurs, aren't they?
I was saying to Ben actually the other day, which I found absolutely crazy. They were trending on Twitter, and I just had a look at the comments like you do, and a lot of the fans were saying that he's ruined their club and they want him out. And I was like, what? He's been the best manager in so long. I couldn't believe what I was seeing.
I think he still is.
Manager.
They just need a fresh face in there, to be honest.
There needs maybe a few fresh
He's
players.
still a quality manager.
Like, I know they've spent a bit of money and bought in a couple of players, but he had that transfer window when they didn't even have any money to do anything, and he still got into the Champions League final. What do they want?
The Champions League final.
Yeah, exactly.
How
what do
they think
want?
they'd ever get there? That's mental.
Exactly. They're just ridiculous. They're going for a bad patch. You've got to support the team. They know Pochettino's a good manager. They shouldn't turn on him. This is not going well. I for all what he's done for them, and they're repaying him like that. I thought it was disgusting.
They got a lot of fixtures as well.
Who could do a better job?
League,
who could do a better job?
Like
They're having a bad spell, but who could do a better job?
Sam Allardyce.
Yeah, Big Sam. That's it. But you're not getting Big Sam out of retirement.
I just think it's a blip on Pochettino and Spurs at the moment. They'll come through it.
Yeah.
It's just whether they stick with Poch or not. They've got to really.
Well, that's the thing. If he goes, he'll just go to another big team, won't he? So it's not going to be any loss for him, is it? Maybe he'll get backed a bit more financially in the market.
Well, he'll get his contract paid out, won't he? Bit of cash.
Yeah.
Go on holiday.
Right.
Antigua and Barbuda. Nice week. But no, I think he'll come out the good end of this if Spurs keep him on.
Oh,
it's beneficial for both.
I was just going to say one thing. I actually saw one fan put on there saying they want Tim Sherwood back.
Oh, a joke.
I can stop laughing.
Jesus Christ.
That's the actual joke. There's no way I'm serious.
Back.
I want to see Sheffield finish top 5 this season as well.
Top half would be good to see, wouldn't it? Chris Wilder, what a manager.
No, there's not really any other managers that we can sort of rip the shit out of.
To be fair, that's a lot
Maybe
of managers.
Ralph hasn't.
Oh yeah,
Southampton,
yeah. But then who are they going to get in to replace him? It's one of those again.
The thing is, I'm not being funny. They scraped it last year. They're scraping it again this. Well, not even scraping it. They're going down this year.
Yeah.
He's not been back since he's not been back since he's been there. He's been stitched right up. I said this last season, but I don't think it's his fault. I think he is a good manager, but he's not been back whatsoever. They got Che Adams in. I'm trying to think who else they even got in. I don't think they even got anyone else in.
Well, they took Gabbiadini out of the squad sometime last year? They got that Elianoisi, who isn't there anymore.
Oh yeah, he did that one. Well, no, who's that mate they got this season? Who did like one thing in one game, and all the fans were in about him.
Gineppo, yeah. I do love Gineppo though.
I've not seen anything else about him though.
Yeah.
Oh, Danny Ings is getting the goals for him. He's popping up with goals.
Fuck off, Ben. You and Danso, as soon as that happened, you started playing him on Pez.
I don't like him.
Oh, I love this guy. Yeah, you do.
He's a good sort of player.
He's your guilty pleasure.
Hope he has a good career.
Yeah, he could be the first one out the door. To be fair.
Well, what about Watford as well?
Everton.
Completely forgot, yeah. Everton, Silva, Watford. Is it Silva still at Everton?
Yeah, Silva's still at Everton. Like,
Watford.
They got the win against Hampton at the weekend. Watford, he's only just come in though.
Yeah.
They got a win last time out against Norwich, though, didn't they?
Yeah.
That's like Norwich, but still win.
There's a lot of managers, don't know, could go any day.
Apart from good old Roy, we've had a really bad few weeks of fixtures. Well, 3 weeks of bad fixtures, 4 weeks of bad fixtures. Obviously, City, Arsenal, Leicester, and then Chelsea. It's pretty much.
What I'm wondering is, do you reckon Roy can manage the team from a retirement home?
He won't need to. He's not shitting himself yet. Even if he does, they can clean him up. He's rich.
They'll weed into the game.
They'll take him out on a Saturday.
He's having a day out, lads.
His day out's managing Crystal Palace.
You just got Royce
to the front four. One of our most loyal fans, Roy. He's also the manager, just sat there with a
I think it's remarkable that he's still managing at his age. I mean, all the stress and that, and he's still getting up going, come on boys, we're in the Prem.
You've not even really spent any money as well, and he's doing well.
Well, I think we spent something like 2 million on IU, and who else did we get?
McCarthy, I can't think for like 3, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, McCarthy, yeah, but he's not really a player.
Yeah, I was really worried about with Palace at the start of the season as well, but somehow.
Yeah.
So was I.
Jordan Ayew's been really good for you as well, hasn't he? I think
we're scraping it, yeah. And we've called up youth players like James Daly and that.
Yeah. It's immense, I thought they'd be right down there with your strikers.
Yeah, Ayew is our only striker. Really, but.
Am I Wickham?
Oh, he's trash. Anyway, we'll move on if no one's got anything else to say about any new managers.
I think that's about it. Just wait and see who goes first, and we'll talk about it in the following week.
Alright, we'll move on to I say it's the mid, but it's only been 8 or 9 minutes, but the mid-main event of the podcast, which is the quiz.
Oh, quiz time!
Hi guys, and this week's quiz is actually going to be on a player who got the second ever American to score a hat-trick in the Premier League.
Clint Dempsey?
Pulisic.
Alright.
No.
Was a couple of weeks ago, so I thought I'd do an American theme little quiz just to celebrate, obviously not having that many American players to play in the Premier League. So yeah, the first question: who was the first player to get the other player to get a hat trick in the Premier League? Start with you, Ben.
Tim Howard.
To get a hat trick.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're a dick.
Oh no, it is.
Clint Dempsey.
Yeah, well done, Jay. Point for you. Jay said it.
I said it before. What are you on about, Ben? I thought the whole thing was going to be on him.
No, it's not going to be all. No, I just. It's. Alright, next question.
It obviously is.
One of my favourite American players back in the day, well, no, only a couple of seasons ago, really. Jose Altidore. Even though he wasn't that great, I enjoyed watching him at Saturday.
Oh, he still plays.
Yeah, I know. How many goals do you guys reckon he scored in the Prem? Let's start with you, Jay, if you want on this one.
Well, it's Altidore and he played for, what was it, Sunderland?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. Sunderland and someone like Norwichy.
I thought it was just Sunderland. I can't even remember. Maybe Fulham. No, not Fulham.
So I'd say 4.
Okay, Ben.
10.
Alright. Jay, there's a point for you. Spot on. 4 goals.
You joking?
That's fucking trash.
No.
No.
He wasn't.
For God's sake.
Ben, you buggered yourself
How many
off in the
appearances
first
did he have?
Not that. Well, no, actually, I think he had like 30 or so. He was terrible.
For God's sake.
Alright, next one. One of the best American goalkeepers to play in goal. Obviously, there's a few I can mention easily. Like I would have, personally, I would have probably gone with my favourite Marcus Hamilton, but
Oh, yeah.
easily got you. I loved him. But you could have easily gone. Obviously, Tim Howard's probably arguably one of the best. But for me, I loved him. Brad Friedel. And the appearances in the Premier League. How many do you reckon he?
I think I might know this.
Start with you, Ben.
100.
Jay.
421.
Okay. So obviously he played till he was like 40 at Spurs, which was like mental, like 39 or something ridiculous. So Jay, you're right again. 450. Very good.
Oh, wicked.
Ben, do you even know anything? Brad Friedel was about for years.
He was there in Total Club Manager 2003.
I'll tell you one thing I completely forgot before I was researching what to do with the quiz, is he actually scored 1 goal.
How did he score it? Penalty?
No, I think it might have been one of those freak goal kicks or something. You know, like
Oh yeah, actually, I think I remember that. I think I remember
it might have
that.
been one of those. Alright, next one. How many Americans have played in the Premier League? And I'll start with you, Ben.
Oh, for God's sake.
I'll start with Jay, actually. I think I started with you last time, sorry.
Yeah, he's just going to scab me, isn't he? 12.
Okay. Ben?
10.
Alright. Okay, so it was 45.
Oh,
That'll be a
sweet.
point to you, Jay.
What?
I thought they were a lot rarer than that, but...
I thought Americans were shit football.
No, but you had loads of like small ones, didn't you? Small,
Like Kelly Uger and whatnot, sort of like Spurs youth and whatnot.
You know, like them sort of players who go under the radar.
Jeff Cameron, is he American?
Yeah, he's American. Yeah. All right, and this is the last question. I'll probably throw the bonus one in like I do every week. But who was the first American manager in the Premier League? And I'll start with you on this one, Ben, because I did with Jay.
How on earth would I know that?
I don't know any.
I don't even know an American manager, I don't think.
I don't know any.
I'm so bad at this.
For some reason I thought at one point Dick Advocat was, and I was like, no, he was Dutch, but I don't know. You'll kick yourself when I say it.
Yeah, I probably will. I can't even think of any. I might
If
have
you
to
can't
pass.
think of it, you can't think of it. It's one of those ones that you know it, you know it.
Yeah, I'm gonna pass.
Right. Jay, you gonna pass?
Felix Magath?
No.
No, I don't know then.
One of the best American minds in football, Bob Bradley.
Oh.
Fuck off. Has he managed in the Prem?
Swansea, 12 games.
What?
What a manager.
Well, not
12
bad.
games he got. Shocking. And I'll throw the last one in like I normally do, but yeah, how many goals did Clint Dempsey get in the Prem? Start with you, Jay.
42.
Okay. Ben?
40.
Fuck off, you
What is
dick.
it with you going lower? Jay's won 57. He's done it again. I don't understand.
Don't lowball me, because you'll lose.
So it's a clear winner. As you know, it's quite close.
I've won.
No, obviously, shut up. Obviously, a clear winner. Jay, 5-0. Well done. Ben, you probably should just, I don't know, maybe not turn up next week.
I'm not going to.
Okay, good. So that's the end of the quiz. Hope you guys enjoyed.
That was a decent quiz. Well done, Richie.
Thank you.
So from there, we'll move.
Shut up, Ben. I didn't like it.
We'll move on to the next topic, which is Tammy Abraham. Should he start for England? I think it's all bullshit, and Conor Wickham should have beaten him to a call. But yeah, that's my opinion. Let's.
Yeah, but if you compare Abraham to Kane, would you?
Yeah, I would be starting Kane.
For me, I would probably actually start Abraham. The form Abraham's in is the informed player. I know that a lot of people will be like, his finishing might not be as good, but Kane's low in confidence, Spurs aren't playing well. I think take a bit of pressure off Kane, drop him a few games. He's like the main man for England for quite a while now. Yeah, drop him for a few games. Let Abraham do a job easily.
See, I think
he'll get some goals.
I'd be putting him on as a sub at Abraham. Harry Kane needs to start, in my opinion.
Yeah, but
it's only going to knock his confidence more.
Yeah, but I don't think it will. Kane's sort of. I think he needs a rest. For me, personally, he's not one of those players. I think he'd be like, oh, I've been dropped and I'm going to struggle to get my spot. Kane's going to be the main man for England for years to come. But I think Abraham, at this moment in time, should be starting for England.
I'd say play Kane for Montenegro, but bench him for Kosovo.
I think you could easily bench him for both, but what do you think, Ben?
I like both of them, to be honest. I think you're right. I think he does need Harry Kane does need a rest in this.
I think, yeah, like I said, I think Abraham could do it. Yeah, exactly. He does everything for Tottenham. He does everything for England, really.
Before there wasn't really any striker that take his place.
Yeah, exactly. And now we've got
Abraham's
a little bit.
form.
Yeah, you've got a bit of competition. You could even argue Vardy getting a pretty cool, but I don't know if he's up for that. But the form he's in,
definitely not.
I was about to say, I know you don't like him, but he is the top goal scorer in the Premier League at the moment.
No, but I don't think Vardy would go back.
That is impressive. I think it's Vardy top goal scorer, and then Tammy Abraham second, so two English strikers.
I don't think Vardy would want to play for England.
Yeah, I don't think he would, but I'm just saying. Yeah, I know, but you know what I'm saying. Like,
I don't think he fits in either in the England squad.
Yeah, but they could easily play against them teams. Like, you've got I don't understand why he feels the need to play all these amazing Pickford. He's doing shit for Everton. Drop him and give bloody I don't know, even Henderson a go and see how he gets on.
Heaton.
Yeah, exactly. Heaton. I like Heaton. Put Heaton in. You don't need Pickford to play in these games. Take the pressure off Pickford, and then bring in another goalkeeper. And then if you need to drop Pickford in the future, you've got another goalie who's got some appearances under his belt. And none of the other goalies, Heaton's probably got like 8 caps. Henderson or whoever you have in Pope's probably got like 5 or 4. It's pathetic, and it's just Pickford with all of them. I don't understand why he's not rotating the squad.
He'd have had a lot more chance if he didn't get injured last season. That knocked him back a bit.
Yeah, I know, but I just don't understand why he doesn't rotate the squad. Why does he feel he needs to play the best squad against like, no offence to some of these smaller nations, I don't understand. Like, why not give some younger players a go? Like Reece James is like they're saying about him coming in. Throw him in. Why not? Like, I like him personally, but other players, Tamori, I'm not sure if he started the other day, but start him. Why not? For me, these players I feel need to be given more of a chance.
See, I wouldn't mind going back to the days of players being called up from the Championship as well. Like when good old Steve McLaren did it to not Ben Nugent, sorry, David Nugent.
Yeah.
I think more should be called up from the Championship. Shouldn't just be the pool of the Premier League.
Yeah. It's like I tell you what, I'm a bit surprised with is maybe like he's not even looked at someone like Ramsdale for Bournemouth. He's having quite a good season. Like they're not doing that well, but he's. What do you mean he's too young? Henderson's young and he's had a cooler.
Joe Hart was young when he got called up.
Yeah, exactly. I don't understand throw him in as a third choice then. He used to love doing that. Next minute we'll be seeing Scott Carson in there as the number 2 again. I don't know. It's just I don't know what it is. I don't like Gareth Southgate. I've said that plenty of times.
Well, he's a stand-up fella.
Nah. Big Sam.
Thing is, like with Big Sam, at least he has his own mind. And I'll even say it about Roy Hodgson as well. The problem with England managers is they don't think for themselves. They just think with the FA.
Yeah, but that's what I liked about Big Sam. I really believed he wouldn't have done that. Like he wouldn't have caved in.
Yeah, then they sacked him off.
He wanted to do. Yeah, I know they sacked him off, but Big Sam would have done what he wanted, like what he felt best for the nation.
But that's what I'm saying. The FA
supporter.
I think
that's what I feel.
I think he came in and the FA just went, yeah, we need to get rid of him. He's not having it in our way.
He was a fucking scapegoat. He's just, it's just ridiculous. It was probably one of the happiest moments of my life when I saw Big Sam England manager.
It's gonna go on your gravestone. Big Sam England manager, favourite.
Jack was alive when Big Sam was England manager.
Yeah.
You wait, Steve Bruce is going to do well, and he's going to do next England manager. Yeah, shut up,
Steve Bruce.
Now, I want to see Lampard are obviously beat Chelsea for a while now. Personally, obviously, we haven't really talked about how well they're doing. It's enjoyable to watch Chelsea how well they're doing.
I don't want to see Jarrad as England manager at all.
I do.
He was average. He was average as a player for England. He'll be average as a manager, I reckon.
I don't think so. You say he was average for England. Yeah, maybe he wasn't quite there. Maybe as he wanted to be, but he was a top quality player at Liverpool.
Oh yeah, but like internationally, him and Lampard were awful together. One of the worst combinations we've ever had.
It doesn't mean they can't be quality managers. And look what Lampard and Jarrad are doing. Jarrad has just managed Rangers to, I think it's one win or one draw, both wins against Porto in the Europa League, who got to the quarterfinals last season. That's impressive.
Yeah,
that is really good.
Where are they in the table?
Celtic won. Joint first. Yeah, I know, it's hard to tell because I think last time I checked it was like last week they were joint first.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are both 31 points in 12 games.
Yeah, exactly. For me, I think Gerrard's next move might actually be England manager by the time he's done with Rangers. Lampard, I think, it'll be Chelsea for a while.
I just think until he manages someone maybe in the Prem or we can't tell what Gerrard's going to be like.
Yeah, I know, but then what did Southgate do before he got the England job, or a lot of the England managers? Well, not a lot of them, because I know like a few of them have done really well. But yeah, what has Southgate done except from just be a flop? Oh, I coach the under-21s. That gives me the right to coach the main squad.
But when you're coaching in a league that Neil Lennon was thriving in as a manager.
No, he's thriving again.
Oh yeah.
He went to Bolton, absolutely flopped. He's gone back again. He's top dog again.
But when you're in a league where Neil Lennon is just striving and being one of the best managers in the country.
don't get me wrong. I don't like the Scottish League. I'm not a massive fan. I don't feel it's good enough. Obviously, you can't compare it to the Prem, Championship, maybe even League One. But for them sides to do that well, obviously we weren't talking about Celtic, but Celtic actually beat Lazio 2-1 in the Europa League as well. So, but just talking about Rangers again though, that's why I've really looked at it and gone, fair enough for Rangers to be beating Porto, that last year's quarter-finalists, and Porto are no mugs. That's a good result. And I think they should be looked at with a bit more respect for that. But.
Yeah, well, I can get that from you guys. I'm not changing my mind on this one. Right, I think we've spoken off about obviously the Abraham, which then escalated into other England pickings and whatnot. So we'll move on from here, as my English is terrible, to cheap as chips. And this week's player is Claude Makelele. One of the best midfielders I've ever seen playing in a Chelsea shirt.
Not as good as Nigel Rio-Coker.
And the first transfer fee is to Marseille, which will start with you, Ben.
Where was that from? Are you not allowed to tell us?
I'll just double check.
Yeah. Because it's probably from some French third division or something. I'm just wondering. I can't remember. Don't worry. If
Marseille
not,
was Nantes.
Okay.
This was when he was say 13, 14.
14, 14.
No, and that was when he joined Nantes, yeah, and then obviously he's left Nantes to Marseille in '97. Yeah.
Ah, okay. You're first, Ben. So.
Oh, thanks, man.
Alright.
5 million.
And Richie.
250k.
Oh, and the winner of that round is Richie. Claude Makelele went for free to Marseille. I thought I'd throw the red herring in. His second, one of his moves, it wasn't the second move because he had one move before this, but to Real Madrid from Celta Vigo. We'll start with you, Richie.
You like to tell us what year that was?
Oh, I don't know, because of inflation and 2000, 2001.
Okay. 5 million.
Interesting. Ben?
5.25.
And the dickhead of this round is Ben.
Yes.
It was 12 million.
Come on.
That's a lot about that.
It's always by 2 as well for Ben. He always adds the extra 2 or he would subtract the 2. The knob. And the third and final decider, as it is one apiece, Claude Makelele to Chelsea from Madrid in 03-04.
Jesus.
Who's first?
Oh, it's me, innit?
Yeah, it's you first.
20 million.
Interesting.
I know this is going to sound really cheeky, but I actually had 22.5 million in my head.
Oh,
before
fuck
Ben
off,
said that.
did you?
See you later, Ben. That's mine. 20.
And the winner of this week's Chips is... Wait, who's lower? I've just forgotten. Oh, Ben. Chelsea, £16.8 million.
Yes, come on!
So,
Thank God you can win something.
Ben has finally won something on this channel and show.
That's my first win, I think.
I know, it's only taken 2 seasons of bullshit
Party
podcast.
time.
Shut
I
up.
love you, Makelele.
So we'll move on to the next topic, which is the results of the Premier League. We would maybe one week we should do non-league when Premier League's not on. We can't do it every week because that'll just do me head in. There'll be too many.
We just don't bother, do we?
Yeah, but we need to. Someone to put on put on the list. But we'll start with Watford and Norwich. Obviously, Watford gaining the 2-0 win against Norwich away. It's boring for me because they're both at the bottom of the table.
Yeah, it's
going down.
A bit of a down. Yeah, it's a shame that Norwich is back in a bit. They've got so many injuries. It's a shame, isn't it, really?
They started so well.
Mm.
I mean, they're only 12 games in, so it's not.
It's not down or out either. They're only only 4 points out.
Yeah, but they have lost a lot of games. Jesus.
Next game, Chelsea and Palace. I think, like I was saying earlier, it's our 4th consecutive game that's, well, just bollocks. Our fixture list. So nothing can really be said about this.
Once you get through it.
Yeah, well, no, we're through the end of this now, so it's just unfortunate that, well, it's quite fortunate that we managed to pick points up before. And then saying that, I think we've got Liverpool coming up soon, so it's just fun and games for Palace. Move on to Burnley and West Ham. Got old Sean Dyche getting a 3-0 win over West Ham.
Yeah, embarrassing for West Ham.
Ashley Barnes strikes again. He's a new Pookie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nothing to say about it, or?
Embarrassing.
Not really. We spoke about it like a little bit, didn't we? West Ham, Burnley just being Burnley. You like to see it, don't you?
I'm going to start calling Declan Rice. Pass it sideways, Rice, or backwards.
I'm going to have that as my ringtone, Ben. We'll move on to Steve Bruce and Bournemouth. So Newcastle 2, Bournemouth 1.
Newcastle stepping up, aren't they? Getting some results together.
Well, Bruce means business.
Exactly.
You guys were saying he's trash.
Shut their mouth.
I think Shelby needs to leave though.
He's been starting for him.
Yeah, he needs to leave.
I like John.
I do love like Newcastle when I see Matty and Sean Longstaff in the middle. I will point that out. I'm a big fan of that.
Aww.
They want it in this weekend, but I'm a big fan of that.
It's been quite a boring weekend, to be honest. I mean, Everton 2, Southampton 1.
Everton needed it.
Everton need it. Southampton are just sort of... Well, the thing about Southampton, like I was saying earlier, it seems every year they kind of cling on to Premier League status.
Well, their fans look greedy. I'm not going to get into it like I normally do.
Well, what made me laugh was years back, when they were in the top 6. Yeah, they're in the top 6 or top... Oh, we're gonna finish in the top 4 next season. Fuck off. It's not going to happen. You sell every player that you own.
That either. Yeah, they weren't happy with that, and now look.
No.
I wish we had Claude Puel back, who got us fucking 8th or whatever, and we moaned about it. They got us to a fucking final.
And now look what we're stuck with. Oriol Romeu in the midfield. Brilliant. But they just wind me up, Saints fans. It's probably because I lived there for a while.
It's the Saints fans' problem why Saints are playing so... Why Saints have got such a poor squad now.
Nah, but they don't help. They don't help either. They just do me in.
Selling them, and then replacing them with a player that's not as good as the one they just sold.
Well, it is kind of the fans' fault because the fans still sit there and buy the tickets, give the club money. So it kind of is their fault as well.
I'll not go to go and support a team.
Well, EC's are close by. They've got enough capacity to hold him.
That's what I did.
We'll move on to Spurs and Sheffield United. Obviously 1-1 draw. We spoke about Poch earlier. I love Sheffield United.
Quality result.
This is such a likeable team.
And then Wilder as well. I love Wilder.
Yeah.
But there's not really much else to say about that game.
It's such a championship team that just grinding out results. I love that.
They had a good core, and they've just added a few little players here and there, and they're kept with the main core though, which has worked well. we kind of did that in our first season. Kept the main core, added a few players, and then
And you just went wild.
pushed on from there. Yeah. But
the same probably happened with Sheffield United.
Well, that's the thing. Sheffield United look like they're doing it better than us. So good on them, to be fair.
Move on to the Leicester game. Obviously, Arsenal registering 1 shot on target, and Leicester winning 2-0. With
we said it earlier. Leicester absolutely solid.
Yeah, I think we kind of summed it up earlier. To be honest, yeah. Arsenal, don't know, disarray.
Wolverhampton and Aston Villa.
Could have gone either way, couldn't it? Really, you
Yeah.
want to predict that game.
Villa need the points.
Yeah, good result for Wolves. Grind it out.
Man United and Brighton. I said about that earlier. I was well annoyed. Thing is, Brighton just flopped. Brighton just flopped in the first half. They gave it a bit of fight in the second half, and then obviously when they got the goal, about a minute and a half later, Rashford goes and scores. So it was disheartening to see, because I thought they were going to get something out of that game. But then obviously Marcus Rashford, he should be in the England squad. Main striker. No?
Moving on.
Well, I'm just trying to put a bit of enthusiasm into this podcast. It's like you're all asleep.
Yeah.
We'll move on to Liverpool, Man City. Over to you guys, alright?
Alright.
I watched the game. Yeah, I watched the game in Liverpool. It could, like, obviously VAR again. I'm not going to get into it, but
I don't start that shit.
That handball. Looking at it back again. It's dodgy. That could have changed the whole game, because that happened before Liverpool even got a goal or even had a chance. So I don't know, but yeah, Liverpool were very good. The front three were just very impressive.
Clinical.
The defence of City was just so all over the place.
Gary
Neville just could not. Yeah, well, it wasn't even that. It's just low on confidence, just low on ability. Some of them, like Angelino, I've not even seen play for City before, and I didn't mind him going forward, but he just looked like he'd been thrown in the deep end starting against Liverpool.
Oh, is that who he was?
Yeah, Angelino.
I thought it was someone else. I thought it was someone else. No, because it said Tassende. It said one of his earlier names.
And then John Stones and Fernandinho, you just know that's just not like Fernandinho is not a centre back. And John Stones is just
he's dreadful.
He's all over the place. And even though I don't really fault Bravo for the goals, Bravo as well, it doesn't add up well, does it really? But I don't know. Yeah, Liverpool will deserve another win.
No, get Scott Carson back in goal.
He was number 2. If Bravo got injured, Carson would have been on the pitch.
City fans could only wish. Right, we'll move on to predictions, starting with West Ham and Tottenham. Both two clubs in dire straits at the moment. I'm going to say 2-2. Ben?
What game was it? Sorry.
Oh my god. West Ham, Tottenham.
1-1.
2-1 Tottenham.
Alright, Ben. Alright. Arsenal, Southampton. 1-0 Southampton, I reckon.
3-1 Arsenal. Richie?
I've missed it again.
Oh, for Christ's sake, what are you doing?
I don't know, I'm falling asleep.
Arsenal, Southampton.
Arsenal, Southampton. We're in dire straits here.
Arsenal. Sorry. I've woken up a bit.
Brighton, and that's the first time it's ever happened on this channel. Someone has fallen asleep during a video.
I missed it again.
Brighton and Leicester. I think 3-1 Leicester.
Yeah, I think 3-1 Leicester.
2-0 Leicester.
Alright, let's get this done quickly now. Watford, Burnley. 2-1 Watford.
2-0 Burnley.
Whoa. 1-1.
Crystal Palace, Liverpool, obviously 3-1 Palace.
3-0 Liverpool.
No, you can do one. Bournemouth, Wolves.
1-1.
2-1 Wolves.
1-1. Everton, Norwich. I think 3-0 Everton. Can't see Norwich clawing anything back yet.
2-0 Everton.
I'm gonna go 1-0.
And
Everton.
City, Chelsea.
That's a cracker.
I think 2-1 Chelsea.
I'm gonna go 2-2.
Yeah, I like the 2-2.
And both the Uniteds, Sheffield and Man U.
Ooh.
I think 1-0 Sheffield.
I might go 1-0 Sheffield.
It just seems more feasible.
I just feel like, they defend well and they might nick it.
Yeah.
Not even nick it, but...
And the big boys, Aston Villa and Newcastle.
The big boys?
Massive.
Tasty bit of Monday Night Football.
You just talking about Steve Bruce?
Yeah, he is a big boy. I think 3-1 Newcastle. Brucey's got their back.
Well, Andy Carroll hat-trick or...
Andy Carroll gets 2. One of the Longstaff boys gets 1. But it's like so close to call that they're both going for the ball at the same time. So it could be either of their goal, and they just start arguing on the pitch. I think that's my prediction.
And they just decide to just give it to Longstaff as the collectors.
Yeah.
No first name.
No, then VAR could 1-1.
I can't actually decide this one. Oh.
Just say Longstaff
2-2.
wins for the day then.
2-2, but I could not call that. I really could not call that.
You just did.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, you kind of just did. But what?
Thanks, Jeff.
Right.
Shut up.
That's pretty much been the podcast. I'm going to try and wrap it up because obviously one of our podcast members is dozing off.
And it's not me for once.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So we've kept him entertained for this past 30 minutes. So I've been Jarrad Clark. We've had Jack Ritchie, if he's still there,
guys.
and Ben White.
See ya.
Please like and subscribe if you've liked the podcast. Dislike if you disliked it, and all feedback's welcome, whether it's slagging us off or whatnot. So have a good one.